The MLB trade deadline came and went, and overall it was a pretty busy deadline. A lot of big names didn't get moved, but a lot did, as in Carlos Correa and Eugenio Suarez. Today, I'm grading every team's MLB trade deadline. First off, the Diamondbacks. The D-backs pretty much just sold at the deadline by sending away Josh Naylor, Eugenio Suarez, Merrill Kelly, and Jordan Montgomery. They got decent prospects in return, so I'm going to give them a C. Next, we got the A's. The A's did not have a good first half, so it made sense for them to sell. They shipped flamethrower Mason Miller to the Padres for 4 of the Padres prospects. They also traded Miguel Andujar to the Reds. I'm going to give the A's a C+. Next, the Braves. They did absolutely nothing, F. The Orioles had a fire sale and said goodbye to Cedric Mullins, All-Star Ryan O'Hearn, Ramon Laureano, and more. They got a giant haul in return for O'Hearn and Laureano. To me, I think a C+ makes sense. The Red Sox were 5 games back in the AL East in a really tight division, but they were really quiet by only bringing in Dustin May and prospect Blaze Jordan. They didn't get worse, but they didn't get a whole lot better. Solid B. The Chicago Cubs have been fun to watch this year, and the best they had been since, honestly, 2016. Everyone was expecting them to be buyers at the deadline, but they had a really disappointing deadline. They made 4 moves, bringing in Michael Soroka, Andrew Kittredge, Taylor Rogers, and Willie Castro. Soroka and Kittredge will help the struggling pitching staff, but everyone was expecting the Cubs to go out and get a big name at this deadline. C+ seems right. The White Sox traded away some players, but did not really bring any in. There were rumors about trading Luis Robert Jr., but he was never moved. C-. The biggest move the Reds made was bringing in third baseman Ke'Bryan Hayes from the division rival Pirates. The Reds had a hole at third, so this helps. They also brought in Andujar and pitcher Zach Little, B+. The Dodgers were pretty quiet this year by only acquiring Brock Stewart from the Twins and sent Dustin May for 2 alpha prospects. C. The Marlins traded away Jesus Sanchez and kept Sandy Alcantara. Alcantara could have brung a whole big of prospects, but they held on to him. D-. The Brewers had a quiet deadline, but had sneaky moves like bringing in Jordan Montgomery and dealing Nestor Cortez to the Padres. B. Remember how in 2017, the Marlins had a fire sale trading Giancarlo Stanton, Christian Yelich, JT Realmuto, and Marcell Ozuna, and how in 2021 the Cubs traded Javier Baez, Anthony Rizzo, and Chris Bryant? Well, the Twins just traded more people than those names I listed in 24 hours. Carlos Correa, Griffin Jax, Harrison Bader, Willie Castro, Brock Stewart, Ty France, Chris Paddack, Luis Varland, Danny Colum, and Joan Duran. Wow, F. The Mets made 2 notable moves by bringing in closer Ryan Helsley from the Cardinals and bringing in center fielder Cedric Mullins from the Orioles. A. The Yankees acquired Camilo Doval, David Bednar, Ryan McMahon, Jake Bird, and while they were playing the Rays, they asked for one of their players by trading Jose Caballero. A. The Phillies had a productive trade deadline by bringing in Joan Duran and Harrison Bader. A. The Pirates traded away David Bednar, Ke'Bryan Hayes, Taylor Rogers, and only brought in Evan Sisk. F. The Padres had an insane deadline bringing in Mason Miller, J.P. Sears, Ryan O'Hearn, Ramon Laureano, Nestor Cortez, and Freddy Fermin. Easy A. The Giants had a pretty disappointing deadline by trading away Camilo Doval and MikeYastrsky, only bringing some prospects. F. The Mariners landed Josh Naylor and Eugenio Suarez. A. The Cardinals traded away Ryan Helsley, Phil Maton, and Steven Matz. Most notable acquisition was Blaze Jordan. The Rays acquired Adrian Hauser and Griffin Jax while giving away Tash Bradley and Jose Caballero. B. The Rangers acquired Merrill Kelly, Phil Maton, and Danny Colum. A. The Blue Jays had a pretty good deadline, bringing in relievers Seranthony Dominguez, Ty France, Luis Varland, and Shane Bieber. A. Last, the Washington Nationals traded away Michael Soroka, Kyle Finnegan, Alex Call, Andrew Chafin, and Luis Garcia, and Ahmed Rosario. D. In my opinion, the Padres had the most productive deadline and got so much better. Thanks for watching and make sure to subscribe.